Boxing Truth here. Just a quick video about Bob Arum's statements regarding Deontay Wilder. He did a recent interview with Greg Leone, boxing talk writer. Used to be the CEO of Pascal Promotions, however that went about. So Greg Leone's back on the grind. He's releasing some interesting interviews, and he's a Deontay Wilder fanboy, definitely. He's pushing for unification. He's trying to say that fight's going to happen. And I always disputed that. I was, even in my recent video I did with Joseph Parker, I said in that video that I don't see that fight happening. It doesn't make any sense. And Bob Arum confirmed and revealed why that fight is not in the direction that him and Parker's team are going through. Bob Arum was on record saying that Deontay Wilder brings nothing to the table. He doesn't bring enough to the table to entice one of the other champions to fight him, at least in America. And that's why Parker, Bob Arum, and Parker's team are going to go in a different direction. They're not really interested in the Wilder unification because there's no money in the fight. This is prize fighting, and fighters are not going to fight you if there's no money on the table. And that's the issue. Where will the fight take place? Where is the fight going to happen? Go outside on any street in America and ask people, do you know who Joseph Parker is? And do the same thing for Deontay Wilder. You're going to get a bunch of no's. So where's the money going to be? Where's the money going to be at for that fight? They can't put it on pay-per-view because Wilder's not a draw, and neither is Parker in America. So they would have to put it on a premium channel or a network channel, and there's just not enough money on the table for Parker to take the fight. Wilder's going to want to be compensated. Parker's going to want to be compensated. It's a unification, and there's just not going to be enough on the table to entice the parties to take the fight. So there's an issue when it comes to Deontay Wilder. Wilder's begging for unification, but at the same time, he has to realize he needs to go travel to get these big fights. And is he willing to travel? He hasn't traveled yet. He hasn't yet fought a mandatory. He's begging for a unification, but he has to wait in line, as Bob Arum revealed that the mandatory defense is going to go ahead with Hughie Fury. Now, I got a lot of heat for that Parker video. I don't know why. I just simply stated that I felt the mandatory was going to get rescheduled. I was wondering why there was so much drama that it was gonna be rescheduled, because it didn't make sense to me. I mean, there is money to be made in a Fury fight. Whether he faked the injury or not, that's all speculation. Nobody fucking knows. They did provide proof, according to reports, and if the WBO approves of the evidence, then the fight's gonna go ahead. And as Bob Arum revealed, the fight is gonna happen in July in the UK, since the deal collapsed in New Zealand, as Parker's team's going through a rift with their promotional company. They put too much money on the table for the purse bid, and they weren't going to get any return on their investment. So there was a lot of issues with the original scheduled bout. And as it turned out, Parker and his team are probably happy, especially Parker's promoters, that Hughie Fury pulled out, because they weren't going to make a dime in that fight had the fight went ahead and they went through with that purse bid. So the fight is rescheduled according to Bob Arum. They're going to fight in July. Parker's going to go to the UK. There's a lot of speculation that Parker was going to fight somebody else in the UK, like Bellew, or there was Dylan White was being thrown out there. But he's fighting Hughie Fury, and that's what I expected. And Bob Arum just revealed why Parker versus Wilder is not going to happen, and why is a difficult fight to make right now. Wilder has to travel to make these big fights. He knows that. He's the B-side in the equation when it comes to Joshua and when it comes to Parker, since Parker does more business in New Zealand since he puts his fights on pay-per-view over there. But interesting interview with Bob Arum. Parker not really interested in the Wilder fight right now. There's much more of a interest to fight Fury. There's more money to be made. Then they're gonna go after someone else in the UK market. Perhaps Joshua, Tony Bellew. If they get you with that mandatory defense, they're free to do whatever they please. They'll be in the voluntary stage. They won't have to make a mandatory for quite some time. And it looks like Wilder's going to have to fight Stavern again. And then he's going to have to travel if he wants these big fights, which shouldn't be an issue since Heyman is losing dates. He's putting Wasteman on a main event on Fox in July. So there's really no option for Wilder. He can't hide at Alabama forever. He can't keep getting handouts, fighting voluntaries. If he wants to prove he's the best, he's going to have to be a true world champion and come across the pond and try to conquer. But Deontay Wilder ain't no conqueror, man. Wilder ain't no Alexander. Fuck out of here. Can't wait to get Wilder gets chin checked. But he's going to have to wait in line for a Parker fight. He's going to have to travel. And he's asked out at the moment. Going to have to fight Stavern again. The only problem is, when and where is that fight going to take place? What network? Is Showtime even interested? If Showtime's not interested, where are they going to put that fight? A lot of questions, not enough answers. Wilder's career keeps becoming more and more disappointing, more uninteresting. And Arum is right. Wilder brings nothing to the table. Just simply a B-side with a belt that has to travel in order to get these big fights. This is Boxing Truth. I'm out.